Hey YouTube, how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with a first impressions video for you, and today I've got a Manly knife. Now, you've probably heard me talk about the Manly Companion before, but this is the Manly Peak, and there's not really a lot out there on this particular knife. But they did a story on Knife News about it a little while ago, and when I saw the story, I was curious, so I reached out to Manly Knives to get a little more information, and ultimately they put me in contact with Manly Canada, who sent this over for me to check out. So normally when I do these first impression videos, I have a box to show you. This time I don't because, well, I forgot it at home. So we're gonna do this one sans box, but I do wanna do the same thing I normally do with the first impressions, just kind of go over the knife itself, the construction, the operation, and then give you size and weight and my overall impression. So let's kind of start here at the blade. We have a full flat ground clip point blade in D2 steel. This is also available in, I think, CPM. It may not be CPM. It may be 154 CM. Let's go with that. Let's go with 154 CM, but also they have an S90V variant available as well, which is pretty cool. So there's some steel options on this, and all of them are pretty reasonably priced. I think the highest price is like, I don't know, around $100, maybe a little over $100 for the S90V. So pretty budget-friendly knife as well. It's going to be probably around 50 for the D2. So depending on what option you go with. Anyway, pretty impressed with the blade. It definitely has, you know, that Endura-esque look to it, but the knife itself is quite different. So I'm not really gonna, you know, get into that too much or make that accusation. Over here, we do have a G10 handle with steel liners that are nicely nested. And again, I've talked about this before. I really like nested liners. It gives you that strength, but it makes the knife look much more finished, much more, you know, just refined. At least that's my opinion of it. The G10 is nice and grippy. We do have a mid back lock here, and there's a bit of jimping there, so it is kind of helpful that way. You can operate this knife one-handed pretty easily. The lock bar, the tension here is pretty stiff, so you're not going to flick the knife out, but you can, you know, if you keep the tension off, the blade drops pretty nicely. All right. We've got a little bit of jimping up here right at the base of the blade, and it's very sharp jimping that really does lock your fingers in. I would have liked to see some on the back spine there, but that's probably a discussion for the full review. Anyway, G10 handle, lock back with a D2 blade. Over here, we've got a deep carry pocket clip that I really, really like. It goes in and out of pocket very well. And we do have a spot with a little spacer there so that you can flip that over to left side carry, making this knife very ambidextrous. So that's kind of what we're dealing with as far as the knife goes. Let's grab a size and weight for you guys. So overall size is going to be just under 8 3/4 inches. You can see that there now. So a little more than 8 5/8. In terms of blade length, we've got fairly big blade at about a little over 3 3/4 inches. By the way, you know, just about 3 5/8 inches of cutting edge, I guess. Closed length is going to be 4 7/8, pretty much exactly 4 7/8. And the other thing that's worth noticing is that this is a pretty slim knife. Let's see if I can show you that well. So you can see that I'm pretty solidly under 1/2 inch, which is pretty nice. Okay, let's grab the weight of this guy, and then we'll go along with sharing my initial impression. So 3.92 ounces. So that's pretty comfortable. So just under 4 ounces for a knife of that length, I think is pretty darn impressive. My overall impressions on this knife, I think Manly has done a great job of giving us a really nice utility folder. It's comfortable in hand. It's very grippy G10. The blade is nice and thin. It's going to slice like crazy, sort of in a similar vein to the original, the blade on the Manly Companion. I love that there's some nice attention to detail here. I like the nested liners. I like the spacer here to allow for that pocket clip to be switched over. And I do like the way this carries in pocket. It's very slim, and yet when you take it out to use it, it's very confidence inspiring. So overall, I think this is a great little EDC knife. Absolutely impressed by it. If I was watching this, I'd be very interested in checking this one out. I definitely would recommend this knife. I'll have more to say, obviously, when I get to the full review, but initial inspection, I'm pretty darn impressed. As I say, when I get to use this for a month or two and then share all of my thoughts with you, that could change, but at least at this point, pretty darn good. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. By the way, let me know what you think of this knife. If you're heard of it or if you're not familiar with it, I'd love to kind of know what the general awareness is out there on the Manly Peak. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you soon.